just, you kind of can't not put the nameplates on. But I do think Uniq have given themselves some pretty solid tools here. You know, like you're saying, Paul is a bloody good Akali player. Can he pull it off into Riddle? I guess we'll find out. But we're on to the Rift for our first game of the day. Remember, this is the decider. If Riddle win this, they are, I believe, into playoffs. I think they're guaranteed at that point. So very much a needed win for them.
Yeah, no, 100%. Just stuff to look out for. Summoners all looks pretty standard. That burst option coming in for Fire Rain with that electrocute. So I would heavily expect to see some skirmishes around Rift Herald and level 6. Lissandra plus Vi is a really potent combo. I really like this duo, especially onto that Akali. While she is slippery, that's just probably going to be too much burst and she's going to get one shot. I would say it's probably going to be quite a quiet early game. You don't have much setup in any single lane, like from any player outside of a Lissandra W early, right? Yeah, I would say the game probably comes online at 6, and before that, we see some poking in lane from bot side.
A little bit off there, the arrows go in. All right, so you need to hit those keys if you want to do some damage.
Yep.
But that is already a pretty painful start, as we kind of expected in this matchup. We did, you do have the expectation, but the Ashe, the Ezreal, they're going to poke, they're going to shove. Yeah. Jinjo and Kiba, they are playing for later game. That's when they are going to be shining.
Yeah, and I just wanted to highlight in that little trade right there, because it's a slower game, I'll just highlight that tactic that Peterson used. He instantly barriered, right? The idea there is, people call it the carrier, because this is something carrier started doing really early on. He will barrier, and because barrier is such a low cooldown, you can just use it, and then you'll get it up really soon again, and you'll just get the most value out of barrier, getting multiple rotations of the spell. Anytime you need it, by the time you need it again, in terms of wave management, like if you're pushing out wave or something like this, you'll have it up again, right? So you just use it instantly the second you come to lane, you heavy trade, and you win the trade and get lane control that way.
For now, on the other side of the game, I say the other side, in the middle of the map, we are seeing Paul. Unlike his bot lane, he is getting shoved in. Again, expected in a Lissandra matchup. She's obviously got the Q that can just kind of rattle through all of those minions, get a whole lot of poke. You did have a point to make about this Malphite into Fiora matchup, I believe, but you kind of got cut off. So I'm curious, what was your thoughts on this matchup? I feel like, yes, Malphite likes being into AD champions.
Yeah.
I still feel like this is quite a rough one, right?
Yeah, I mean, the idea of it is probably just he's going to group up team fights, but I can imagine Banderas is probably just not going to group this game. Maybe a team fight sometimes. But the idea is that Malphite will stonewall the Fiora for a while. Look at the CS differential. I think Cyrex is dead.
What? What happened? He just got killed.
I was just off in my own world talking about the Malphite versus Fiora matchup. I didn't even see what was happening on my screen, and Cyrex was dead a second later. I really hope we get a replay of that, because what on earth was that? Anyway, the Malphite versus Fiora matchup is just a ticking time bomb, right? Eventually, Fiora will be too big for that Malphite in the side lane, and he will just be sitting under tower, probably a tier 2 defending waves. That's typically how it goes. Oh, nice. We get a replay of it.
Oh, lovely. What happened? Oh, we're going back.
So he's low?
They're perma-pushing. I assume a minion got the... No, he didn't even...
Huh.
There it is.
I would like to know how they got low before that as well. We don't necessarily need a replay, but I can imagine just some poor trading in lane that the Ezreal and Ashe took, and Kiba just sees the angle. He flashes forward and gets the EQ and just kills him. That's really bizarre.
That's so weird. That is, that's a little rough there for Kyrex, because, they should technically be winning this lane. They should at least now have pressure and power, but farms equal. I guess the good news and the silver lining to that is Kiba got the kill instead of Jinjo, but yeah, not amazing. Not the start you really want. Summoners have been burnt in the bot side though. Kyrex still has his Pedersen, like you said, that barrier being on a very short cooldown has come back up and available to him. So he is in a pretty comfortable position as Johan might be looking to come in on the flank. It's going to be hard to do so, though. They're pretty safe with lots of slows and lots of tools to work with. Fire Rain isn't level 6, but he is thinking about rotating down, and the collapse is coming in. Paul has teleport, so I think this might just be a little bit too hard to go for that dive. They are going to shove it and maybe deny a little bit of farm to Cryax, but he is able to feel comfortable enough to walk back up and catch what he can at the next of this wave.
Yeah, and you could see they were planning for it. before the whole play happened, they were pinging the previous wave, pinging which wave they wanted to play on, and they tried to bring it down. Unfortunately, it just didn't look like it was going to happen. It looks like Kyrex and Peterson just sniffed something out. They decided, you know what, we don't want this, and they left. But good communication from Riddle to try and make it happen. It looked like Lissandra was prepared to drop a wave to make it happen too. So I like to see that. I like to see the roam potential, especially when you have priority from mid.
Yep, I mean, that's what you do. You get prio, you try and move out and use your advantage in other lanes. Unfortunately, doesn't really result in too much other than just pushing them back. Pedersen now get a little bit of damage off onto Jinjo. They are going to miss the W there. It does look like Uniq. Quite happy with that trade. Are just going to step away, but those minions are being a real nuisance right now to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'm a bit disappointed because I want to see Pedersen and Kyrex perm pushing under tower getting like plates, you know? I think that's the real value of this perm pushing lanes where you have the laning strength. But it's just not working out. Maybe I'm underestimating Lulu plus Zeri, but I don't think I am. I think there's a very real... honestly, though, it actually kind of makes sense because now you watch mid lane and how can they perma push? They have Fire Rain constantly getting priority mid and denying that by hovering down to bot side. So maybe Kyrex and Peterson just aren't comfortable perma pushing because they're scared of a Lissandra roam. And then you've got to question things like this Akali pick. Does this Akali pick really fit with our perma pushing bot side? Because we can't perma push when we have an Akali because the Akali has no priority early game. It's a scaling pick. So I don't really like the pairing here. I think the draft doesn't really make sense. And just look at this pressure down towards bot side. They have to keep backing off as Fire Rain and Johan walk bot side.
Yeah, this is actually just a big draft issue for them. They've picked this lane and Fire Rain, Johan just basically always hovering bot lane. And for Jinjo, he's okay to go down a little bit of fight. I mean, he's literally down 2 CS at the moment. It's nothing major, but you know, even if this was a 20 CS deficit, he'd be okay with this because they're not actually losing plates. They're not losing too much off it. But he's doing this and staying equal in farm to Kyrex. That is not amazing, unfortunately. And again, not to really bash it on Paul, but this is what this is kind of a weakness in the comp which is being drafted by this. However, you know, he is now level 6. He's got that blasting wand. He's not going to always have prio, but we're going to see what he's going to be able to do with this Akali. Now that he's got that perfect execution lined up, Pedersen's also waiting in the wings. Isn't going to be able to find an opening as Fire Rain does use that E out, but that's on a fairly lengthy cooldown. I think it's 20 to 21 seconds at early ranks. So Fire Rain, you know, there are windows in which you can punish him.
So 7 minutes 30. Everyone was moving up. You saw Peterson walk up after a recall. Does look like we're going to get a cross-mac here where Riddle opt for the Dragon early, decide they don't want to contest these level 6s of Uniq and say, you know what, you can have the Herald because Wukong and Malphite is terrifying, right? So it does look like it's going to be a cross-map. Riddle do pick up the Dragon. I can't remember which Dragon this was, but it's not going to be a big deal. I wonder now where they place the Herald for the side of Uniq, though. You can imagine it's probably going to go down towards bot lane, or maybe towards their solo AP for Paul, because Paul has shown he is like the standout player here, and maybe he can use the gold the best.
Yeah. This is actually a little crazy to see, but it's Riddle who are the first to get a plate in the bot side off the back of everything that has gone down. Johan is getting invaded right now by Antwerp. Antwerp is actually quite slow on this, so it's smiteless. So he won't be able to actually finish this up, but Johan's actually not coming over to check, so he will get away with that camp. And then, you know, probably looking for that reset. And I would like to see him go down in the mid lane and use that, because the bot lane, because this mid, you're never really going to be able to get the hard shove to use that Herald without just like jumping in and throwing everything at Fire Rain. But Fire Rain's got ult, he can ult himself, he's got flash if he needs. Like, he has so many escape tools. It's going to be really hard to find a punishment that will stick here in this lane.
No, completely true. If they do get an opportunity to use the Herald mid, though, I think they should. It's pretty hard for them to walk up and hit that tower in the first place, because they could just get collapsed on by a Lissandra and a Vi ultimate, you know, like instantly pull the trigger. So I think this draft is going as expected, fairly slow. Riddle decided to draft something fairly slow rather than taking that Ashe again. You know, they got it picked away from them, so they don't really have the tools to set any plays in any lane. Maybe we're going to see some plays out of roaming from Fire Rain, but I think this is pretty standard, and both teams are going to handshake scaling. I do think Riddle are favored when it comes to this, because they do have that Enchanter, you know, in terms of raw scaling. Yes, you could say that maybe Nihus can get onto the Enchanter, but the way these teams fight, in team fights, the way the fight should play out, I think the engage from Uniq will just get peeled off, and then they have the scaling factor of the Lulu anyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, currently 3 in the mid lane, so you can tell Riddle know that this Herald is going mid or bot. They know it's not going to go top lane, so they're looking to pressure there. And where actually going to get himself caught out. Has to throw the Cyclone down, and he can't even get the pink ward. That's now the ultimate burnt by Ant, where they might be able to just get some immediate pressure on the bottom side, but the problem is Pedersen actually hasn't hit level 6 yet. There's going to be the ultimate by Jinjo, and Pedersen is losing so much HP. The flash comes out just to get him out the heal as well, but they're by Kayaks, and they've still got the ultimate for Johan to work with as Pedersen almost eats another W. Antwer's just going to get a bit of damage off onto him as Kayaks getting chunked out somewhat here, but no ultimate available to them. Pedersen does have that level 6, but that is not the series of plays Uniq were looking for.
Yeah, and this is actually really valuable, right? This chunk is really valuable because now this delays the Herald placement. Because Cyrex and Peterson actually have to recall now. They're going to be delayed on being able to even place it. They can't walk up with this level of HP. Look, Peterson has to recall, and now Uniq Antwer just has to walk around, maybe look mid lane again, and or wait until his bot lane comes back. Cyrex, you can see he's on his own. I don't think this works anymore because Antwer doesn't have ulti, so really weird set of events. I think Antwer was so scared of being burst and one-shot that he just decided he valued disengage more to make sure he survived to be able to place that Herald, but the way things panned out, he's going to be delayed on the Herald anyway. So I can imagine what's going to happen is there's just going to be a panic Herald eventually, which just gets cleared out.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think about 2 waves off wearing off. He's running mid right now, just absolutely sprinting down towards mid lane. Maybe they're just going to try and place it down here, but it's so hard because Pool's under tower and they just don't have the pressure on the map anywhere, unfortunately. And I don't know where they're going to be able to use this Herald. Maybe going to make his way down towards the bottom side. You can see he's actually rotated over into that area. Johan's on the other side of the map.
Is he okay?
He's in a bit of danger. They don't have R on Pedersen, though, so he should be all right.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying desperately to find engages, right? They fired a Pedersen R into mid lane. Does look like there's a dive going on to mid lane right now, and a flash coming out from Paul. I think this is a kill.
Yeah, he's gonzo. Nothing he can do. Herald summoned in the mid lane, in the bot lane. In the meanwhile, Johan is going to try and make his way over. They do get the charge off, so they get 2 plates, but this comes at a cost of their mid laner's life. All of the attention they had. Nihu's missed the R onto Fire Rain, so he will be able to walk out from that one. Yeah. Really unfortunate series of plays.
No flash coming out from Fire Rain, so it was actually just either a sidestep from max range. I don't know if it came out of Fog of War. There's no way of telling, but the cost of that, you lose plates now, and you are going to be delayed on your ability to stonewall Banderas. That's your one role this game, right? I guess in theory you could put Paul 227 in the side lane to match Banderas, but you don't really want to be falling behind this much, giving over 3 plates and missing an ulti like this, because now you lose any playmaking potential as well. So does look like they're weathering the storm really well, Riddle, to stall for that scaling.
Oh, they have that R. No.
Not quite.
No, just not. It's just Zeri things. Jumps wall, presses E. Are they going to get this dragon, though? Everybody is on the bot side for Riddle. Over the wall, Johan goes. He did use that R a little bit earlier, so it's a hard one for him to actually fully go in on. Is still thinking about it, pulls off on the flank. They have the Ashe R up and available, and that perfect execution. Antwer wants to try and burst out this dragon in time. They do land the Ashe R onto Johan immediately. The smite comes down. They are able to secure it. Antwer now trying to get away, but he gets himself caught. Jinjo now jumping forward, getting so much damage off. Paul has to defensively ult backwards. Dragon for 2 kills. Riddle just very much in the driving seat of this game.
And what was that? That was just the most weird set of skirmishing that I've ever seen. I hope we get a replay of that because I feel like Antwer just died, and I don't even know what happened. Securing... Yeah, there we go. There's a flash from Fire Rain. So it was a flash engage from Fire Rain. This is something we see him do all the time. Really well played on this Lissandra. There was no need for any assistance in bursting the... Which is what we usually see from play patterns with Lissandra. You flash forward, select a target, and everyone pounces on the same target. But it was just a Fire Rain assassination that secures... I believe they lost the dragon, actually, but that secures the fight. Things to note before that fight is... Uniq didn't have summoners on a lot of people, and they were chunked, right? Pedersen had no summoners on top of being half HP, and they willingly committed to that. Really peculiar stuff. Maybe they felt the urgency to start stacking up Drakes ASAP, because they don't feel like they scale. I think that's very realistic, but Johan might be caught here.
They got the Malphite off. The Unstoppable Force knocks him up, and in they jump. Antwer securing himself the kill. Can't actually turn their attention immediately towards that Rift Herald as Banderas. It's just going to take a little bit of chunk here from Nihu's, but nothing too major to speak of. Krax will get the tower for this. First tower down here, so big injection of gold into their Ezreal, but there will be an answer out in the mid lane because nobody's here to defend that. So Kiba and Jinjo will be a quick work of this tower. Although, yeah, they will. They got the wave. There it is. Yep.
Definitely odd. Bandera is almost getting a solo kill there. But yeah, Kyrax coming in with a cross map on that Rift Herald play. I don't know what happened there with Johan as well. This game is a little bit odd. You know, a couple of players caught sleeping a little bit there. But Johan maybe starting up Herald before his top laner actually managed to get Prio. And then just getting caught for it. You know, has no flash, just dies. Actually, I think he might have flashed, just get caught by Nihus anyway. Maybe not used to the instant engage of Malphite. Malphite definitely not a champion we see very often. Then on the flip side, we also get Jinjo getting the mid lane turret, which is arguably one of the most important objectives in the game, right? So, well played by Riddle, managing to find the objectives. And Fire Rain getting free reign on here. Always slower, Uniq. Always slower on these side waves. Not managing to catch them in time with Nihus catching the waves.
Really big there is not going to be able to chunk out this top lane tower. Bot lane tower does still stand as well, but with this mid down, Paul, who was already struggling with being shoved in heavily, he's just going to have to be on that side lane. But the big problem is now is they did get that lovely kill onto Johan, but they didn't feel comfortable to hang around because Fire Rain and Kiba were in the area, same with Jinjo. So they didn't pick up the Herald, and Riddle are going to be able to get this one. True Shot Barrage, not going to be in range to steal this one away as Banderas is actually looking to try and take out Pedersen. They're going to chase in. They've got the knock-up. He's just perma-CC'd. Has to R away to safety. As maybe Johan's thinking about the chase, but without the R available, did just use it. Not going to be able to go for that one. Has the Rift Herald in pocket. We'll see if he uses it here to take this tower, or if they try and take a different tower with it.
Yeah, you can just see how bloodthirsty Johan is right there. He was considering diving under that tower with the backup of Kiba on this Lulu. And can I just say, Kiba on Enchanters, I'm really impressed. Like, back in the day, I think last year, I don't know why I said back in the day there. Last year, Kiba on these Enchanters, I believe he played on Astralis, and he just didn't look amazing. But now, you know, he looks completely comfortable on them. Like, absolutely, completely comfortable. I guess that's what happens when you play, like, 5 weeks straight of an Enchanters. But now he looks as comfortable on Enchanters as he does on those hard engaged champions like Nautilus. So, really good stuff there. Managing to peel the perfect execution off in time onto Banderas there. So, really good props.
Paul was basically just put in a bounce house, though. As soon as he jumped in, he just got Vi-ulted, Vi-Q'd, wild growth, and then had to ult away to safety. Like, he just did not get to move on those very irritating moments when you're playing an assassin where you just find yourself chain CC'd. Set quick stock of the items, because we are approaching the 20-minute mark. Fire Rain 5 stacks on his Rod of Ages. Still got a bit of ways to go. Everybody's starting to finish up their first items. Johan with the cleaver in the inventory. Obviously, the changes to Chemtech... Chemtech Chainsword. Yes, the Chemtech Chainsword, yes. Obviously changing the Vi build somewhat.
Ashara?
As, people prioritize that. Good. Ashara comes in. They land all of the follow-up. They catch him with the knock-ups. True Shot Barrage goes wide. Antwer gets the next one. There's the stopwatch. Fire Rain flashes and ease out. That is Lysandra Gaming.
Yeah, that is Lysandra Gaming, but I will say that's a fairly big resource investment, right?
Yes.
I guess he will commit to finishing that Sonya soon, so it won't matter too much, but that is a lot of resources found. And now Nihus manages to unstoppable the ultimate, but he will get followed up on by this assault battery. Cease and desist.
That's the one.
Drop it? I think he's too tanky.
It's so hard to kill him, unfortunately. He's gone full armor, and sure, you get the armor shred of the W, but like it's not going to get through that. This is the replay at the top side. It's basically Fire Rain standing still and being invulnerable the whole time, and then flashing and eating out. Like a lot, like you said, though, was used. They used the Ashar, which is on a relatively short cooldown. It is almost back up. The True Shot. They used the Cyclone. I don't think they used the perfect execution from Paul. They might have, but their cooldowns are relatively low. And Riddle going to get themselves their second dragon. True Shot's a little bit too early to steal that one away. They're aware of what's going on, though. Uniq now down 3,000 gold. To be honest, it feels like a bigger lead just because of the amount of pressure that Riddle have. The gold lead doesn't fully represent actually how far ahead Riddle feel.
I think other aspects of them having a lead is stuff that you can't really tell too well. The fact that Fire Rain managed to get such an early Rod of Ages and get that stacking so early, you typically want to look to make sure it's stacked by like 24, 25 minutes. He's probably going to get it stacked by about 23. He's already a 6 stacked, you know, a stack per minute. So really good stuff there. It does look like he's going to have it be really strong for these upcoming Dragon fights, especially third Drake, which is super important. It does look like he will flash for that too. They were managed. This is what I was concerned about, right? When I said resources used, it meant he would have no flash for the upcoming Dragon fight, but it didn't look like he was even needed there. He just went back on sidewave allocation duty, and now he's got 2 items, 7 stacks on that rower, almost stacked. Definitely going to be stacked for the third Drake and in 3 minutes time.
And the big thing as well is he's got a level lead over Paul. When that rower fully stacks, he gets another level. He'll have a 2-level lead over Paul once that rower's stacked in the next 3 minutes. So, sorry, he's already got a 2-level lead over Paul. He's going to have a 3-level lead over Paul. Very close towards that level 16. I believe around that time, around the time the rower's finished, he should get that finished up for himself. Should be that level 16. So all the points in that glacial prison for himself to use. Or Frozen Tomb? I can't remember which one it is now. I get all of the Freljord frozen lockdown abilities.
I don't know. I think it could be either, honestly. They both sound right.
I think it is Frozen Tomb or Glacial Tomb. Something like that. Yeah, it is, because Sejuani is
don't quiz
Glacial
me on
Prison.
these. I'd get 0.
She's Glacial Prison. That's what she is. There we go. Oh, bye-bye, Fire Rain.
Gonna back out. There we go. Still that level lead, like you mentioned. Is this just an individual gap, Piprain? It looks like this is just an individual gap. If you look at all across the board, the gold, thank you, observers, showing us the gold, but it's all CS differences as well. Like 20 CS lead top side, 20 CS lead mid, 25 CS bot lane, and jungle CS lead. It just seems like they're outclassed individually, rather than anything like spectacular happening, which is expected with their draft, but still really impressive to see.
And most importantly, there's a 3 CS lead in the supports as well. So
True.
Really making a massive
well done,
gap
Kiva.
there.
Well done, Kiva.
Kiva, honestly, just getting that many wards. He's just making it work for himself. Definitely going a bit rough for the side of Uniq. Again, though, they do still have pretty good tools. Even, yes, scaling is going to be a problem for them. They do still have those tools where if Riddles find themselves taking maybe a too greedy of a fight, the chain CC that can come out with the Malphite, with the Ash Arrow, and the burst capability available to them is still something that Riddle need to play respect for. And I think that's what Riddle are doing. You know, I think if this was a different comp, they would have a much more kind of assertive set on the map right now. I feel a lot of these tier 2s would be under threat, if not down. But I think they're paying respect to, you know, they don't want to overreach their mark and then basically throw their gold lead just for kind of like a bit of an ego play.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I got distracted by a lot of pings coming down. I was worried because the camera wasn't on the pings, so I was really scared of what could potentially be happening. But it does look like it was just pinging over Crab. The teams decided, you know, we want to contest this. Riddle, Kiba here, getting Asher. I was wondering if that was going to come out there, followed by a Malphite ulti. But it doesn't look like it connects, and we're just going to go back to recalling, getting more wards. Kiba's probably, they're all probably thinking, you know, how can we get as strong as possible for this next dragon? That's typically what the game comes down to these days. Maybe we can complete this next item. I want to highlight that Nihu's, their primary tank, is full armor, okay? And this typically wouldn't be that relevant, but that is a really fed Lissandra. On top of that, a lot of true damage coming in from Banderas. Not as relevant here, but also Jinjo, sorry, I forgot his name, new player. Jinjo, with that Zeri, also does a decent amount of magic damage, right? So he might just get shredded after his ultimate. I'm a bit concerned for his like sustainability. He's half built towards team fighting without Frozen, but also half built towards hiding that, holding that side lane. So a little bit concerning there. Does look like everyone's going to come out on the map now. Dragon in a minute. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I feel there's almost a world where I feel like Riddle might just give it up and just look to contest the 4th dragon. Mountain Soul, luckily for Uniq, isn't the most impactful dragon. Obviously, you know, the resistances and the shield is a bit of a pain, but it's not completely the end of the world as Antwer finds himself getting caught here. They're going to throw everything in onto Johan to see if they can get him out, but not going to be able to connect, and that slow coming in pretty big. Fire Rain takes the E, charges in. The 2-man knockup throws down. They do get the Ashar off, but in comes the teleports for the follow-up. Already, they are on the run, and Jinjo is deleting health bars. Fire Rain doesn't fully follow over the wall, but the health bars are just incredibly low on Uniq. They need to back off, and it will be a give on the dragon.
And Jinjo just finding the ability to just stand there menacingly, not scared at all, 1v4ing under the enemy turret, was really impressive, to be honest. I wouldn't be able to do that. I would be way too scared to walk up and do that. But I guess he identifies that, you know, Uniq have no cooldowns left. I can do this. I can just unleash hell with DPS and just keep going. Doesn't manage to find any kills in the end, but I think this just goes to show the level of appeal that Kiba's bringing. You know, that Moonstone coming out. Unfortunately for Riddle, what went wrong there was they weren't managed to like find that reset with that Lissandra passive. I don't think Fire Rain managed to find that ultimate onto the Ashe, because Johan and Fire Rain did go on the same target, which is exactly what you're supposed to do.
Oh.
Very close right there. Banderas, I think he's just gonna finally engage.
He's just gone. Oh, he's just assassinated Pedersen. Nothing he can do. Ghost popped super quick. Cryax loses a lot of HP as well in response. Paul made look to come in onto that. Gets himself the E onto Banderas. They missed the true shot barrage. Johan now chasing Paul. May need to look to run away as Antwer buys himself a bit of space. The teleport's coming in. They're going to chase him down with the ultimate. And everybody makes sure that down goes the jungler. This should just be Baron now over the Riddle.
And the name of this game and the name of Riddle's team comp is single target burst. You have the Furor ultimate on one target. You have the Vi ultimate on one target. The Lissandra on one target, which turns into Lissandra passive resets. And they're playing towards it. Everyone's on the same page. They go for the same target and they're playing their composition out flawlessly.
Really, really nice stuff coming in. And it just, again, I don't want to kind of be beating on an old horse, you know, beating a dead horse and all that. But Paul just has had zero impact this game. In fact, his impact has been negative. They gave up too much pressure in mid. It allowed them not to get an advantage in the bot lane. And every fight, just because of the single target CC, he is unable to do what Akali needs to do. He's got the damage in his items right now to be able to one-shot people, but level 14 to level 17. Fire Rain will pop him. He's got an entire item over his counterpart right now.
And this is why Fire Rain and Johan are just so hyped as a duo. I think they're our best mid-jungle duo in the league, just straight up. Yeah. They carry every single game except for yesterday, unfortunately, with Fire Rain cosplaying EU Yasuo. But, you know... Wait, where did his health bar go?
He just hit a W and EQ from Cryax.
Ow.
I mean, like, he's 3-item Ezreal. This is the point where Ezreal does do a serious amount of damage.
Johan?
Johan? He's taking
zero
damage. He's taking absolutely zero damage, though. Oh, there we go. A little bit more to follow up. They're going to keep the pressure onto him. The Nihus misses the R. In comes Fire Rain. And that is the end of Cryax. Paul on the flank. Too slow to the fight. He is out and he has no team to work with. A double kill for Jinjo. Banderas is trying to see if he can solo out Paul, but Paul missing Shuriken, flips back and finds himself the assassination. Flashes over the wall away from Johan. He needs to get this E to clear the distance. He's not going to be able to find it. Johan finishes him up. And Riddle, they're in the base. This is probably just going to be the GG over to the side of Riddle. Paul finally being able to find some impact, but it's just too little, too late. There's the ace. Tower number 1 goes down. Tower number 2 will be quick to follow. Pedersen cannot defend this one at all, as Fire Rain will make quick work of him. True shot coming in. Jinjo not taking enough damage. Cryax being chunked on top of the fountain. And they're just going for the glory kills here. Nexus exposed. Riddle are going to take this win.
And the game just ends just like that. Like 25 minutes of relatively slow gameplay and then one pick with Johan finding the nuttiest angle I did not see. I don't know if you saw that, but like, I would never have seen that angle if I was playing